So let's talk about hormones and hormone optimization, hormone balance. You see a lot of it on social media being talked about by a wide range of people with various backgrounds. Some of the information is good, some of it not really good. So who do you know who to trust? A lot of it is contradictory. Um, and we all come at this with our own experiences, and whether that's professional or personal. Um, and I will speak to you today coming from a professional experience, although I have some personal experience as well when it comes to hormones. So, you know, we have a lot of patients that come to us specifically for what they feel are hormone related matters. They've gone to their doctor, they've had a clinic or somebody run a hormone panel. Lots of things have come back abnormal, whether it's estrogen levels, progesterone, DHEA, testosterone levels. And the immediate thinking is, oh, I need to take hormones or use a hormone cream, get pellets, some type of topical compound, oral route. There's a whole variety of ways in which you can take these. Sometimes they're offered, women are often birth control pills. And I would urge you not to go straight to that. That is often a very bad decision. While, sometimes women may see some initial benefit, it is often short lived, especially when you do not evaluate and address all of the other factors that are impacting hormone metabolism. And that is the production of hormones, the transportation, the cell signaling, and how they react at the receptor sites, their detoxification and elimination. There's lots and lots of things that are impacting your hormone metabolism at various levels, and probably in ways you've not even considered. So we'll often have women who come in with what they think are hormonal issues, and some of them are, but there's a lot of other things upstream that are causing these issues. And there's a lot of other things that are mimic hormone symptoms, like hot flashes or flushing. A lot of women, particularly when they're in their 40s or even 30s, will complain of I'm getting flushing, and it's got to be hormones. And well, sometimes that's just adrenaline and histamine. So, as a functional medicine doctor who's been dealing with these types of patients a lot, um, we have to you have to address the foundations first and foremost, and this applies for hormones and for a lot of the other chronic symptoms that I see too. You have to address the foundations, because the foundations are going to affect your hormones at a root cause level. So often we will, as functional medicine doctors, we're looking at a lot of lifestyle factors that are, as most of you know, are never really thoroughly evaluated or discussed in your routine doctor's visit. There just simply isn't enough time, and most of the physicians, if they are trained traditionally, aren't taught these things. I know, because I've been through their training. So one of the first things I like to do is we've got to address gut health, and that should be no shock to you guys who know me. That's definitely going to impact your hormones, because it's going to impact your gut health directly. Affects your hormones, specifically at the detoxification and elimination level. But your gut health is also affecting your immune system, your endocrine function, the way your thyroid functions, your HPA axis, the hypothalamus pituitary adrenal axis, and that is going to affect your hormones. And so you always have to consider hormone imbalances and hormonal symptoms like really downstream of a lot of upstream issues. And when it comes to diet, everybody's different. No, what works for you may not work for you. I know some patients who do much better with a high animal protein diet. They just feel better. I happen to be one of those. I know patients who do better when they eat more cruciferous vegetables, and that's fine. You just got to find what works for you. And so, but what you have to do is you have to get rid of all the processed foods, the inflammatory seed oils, just the franken foods that has invaded most people's diets these days. And you got to get rid of the sugar. That is a big one for most people. They're just simply eating a lot of sugar, whether they realize it or not. It sneaks in into your food in so many ways. But I have found that addressing gut health, even if you just stop there, can help a lot of hormonal symptoms. And so another thing that I see often is just we have people who are living in a state of fight or flight, and so their sympathetic nervous system is in overdrive, and they're you've heard of this fight or flight versus rest and digest, which is more of the parasympathetic system. These things need to be balanced, and so you really want to exist in this rest and digest state. But many of the things that that are impacting people in their daily lives are really causing them to just be in this state of fight or flight. Their nervous system is just always in a heightened state, and that is always going to impact your hormones, always, in a variety of ways. And, a little bit of stress is necessary. It's what builds resiliency in us. But when it goes on and on and on, then you're going to start seeing problems. And stress is, it's physical stress, it's emotional stress, it's mental stress. But your, poor gut health can cause your body stress. Nutrient deficiencies are stressful on the body. Medications, toxin exposure, all these things are stressors to the body, so they have to be addressed. And when it comes to, quote, stress, I see a lot of women and men, to be quite frank, but usually women, because they're always the ones who are trying to lose weight and attain some type of physique that, what they're seeing on social media all the time. I was caught up in that too at once. And so I get it, but just over exercising and getting up at, 5 in the morning, didn't go to bed until midnight, but we got to get up at 5 because we got to get to that HIIT routine at the gym, or we've just got to, do some hardcore weights. And while exercise is absolutely important, it's a foundation, too much of a good thing is not a good thing. And so it's stressing the body when you're working. And I always ask this question of new patients is, do you ever work out when you're tired? Or do you ever work out when or do you ever push through a workout? Your muscles might be hurting, they're tired, they're fatigued, or you're tired, but you just gotta push through. And so many of them say yes. Very few of my new patients who are having hormonal symptoms say that they, listen to their body and take it easy on those days. And again, I've been there. I've pushed through a lot of workouts. That athlete mentality has come back to bite me in the backside a lot of times. So that's one thing I see a lot of. Or just you have people who don't work out at all. And that's not an option either. Now, sometimes it's necessary for your body to rest. You're in such a state that you can't work out, and for those people you can't sit on the couch either, so we have to at least get up and do a little bit of walking, a little bit of stretching, but knowing that eventually you're going to be able to do more and more and more. We just have to start listening to our bodies a lot better, but sitting around on the couch is not an option either. You really have to just start paying attention to what your body's saying. And when it also another thing when it comes to stress is people who aren't getting good sleep. They're not getting enough. They're going to bed late, and have you got that alarm clock set early and just simply not getting enough. And then you have others who just have very poor sleep hygiene, where that's causing a lot of sleep disruption and the inability to really get into those deep stages of sleep, that restorative sleep. And you've heard me talk about this before, so this should be no surprise, but the use of electronics is a big one, especially before bed. That in the 2 to 3 hour window before bed, people are on scrolling on social media. They're catching up on stuff on the computer, or they've got the big gigantic TVs with the blue light, uh, just all up in your face. And these lights, you've got the blue light issue, which is very stimulating to the brain at a time when you're trying to, calm yourself down. And of course, you've got the social media and the apps on the phone that are programmed to increase dopamine levels, which can also be very neuroexcitatory. So you have to really pay attention to your use of electronics. And I would say not just during the day. I mean, not just during uh, those evening hours before bed, but also during the day. I don't know if some of you have noticed, but and I know I have, is I can be looking, I can be on social media, on Pinterest or something like that, and I can feel my heart rate go up, and I start feeling a little anxious, and I'm like, oh my goodness. And I may have only been on it for about 10 or 15 minutes, but I notice it. Now I've had these discussions with other people and they've noticed the same things. And I will just put my phone down and walk away. So this is revving up your nervous system. And sometimes if you keep doing that over and over and constantly throughout the day, that is just